All right, hello everyone. So today is the 22nd Tuesday. Let's take a look. This is the 15-minute chart. So this is how it was yesterday. All right, so this is gold. Now with gold, remember I gave the upper limits here. Let me just say that this limit here yesterday as a target. So I said going up from here is not a bad idea, and the levels to go up from were 1888 and 1885, and I said if you get the astro hours, you're okay to go up from these levels. Now this was an astro hour, this was an astro hour, so in between those hours, as you can see, the market turned exactly at 1885. I can now get rid of this, and then as you can see, it's gone up to that target there. This was a target yesterday, this was an astro hour, this was an astro hour, so market went up right into that zone there. Also, if you entered yesterday to go long, your stop loss needed to be below the low of that level, below the low of 1885, simply because that was the PST level. All right, so that should have been okay. As usual, the weekly pivot is always a place where you need to take care. And if you went long, you would have been okay. If you went also long from here, you would have come into this zone, as you can see, until closure. The market held steady there until it went back up and hit that target again. So let's see what we can do with gold again. Now with gold, you can see this is a nice move. If I make this a little bigger, all right, and let's see. Now from here we should go up into that zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. Okay, I'm going to delete this here. All right, so we should pull up a little bit, and this is a nice breakout. I like to see this one in the PST level, and then that could take us to 42, which is at 1906, and then we've got 42 here, 1906, 1907, 1907, and that's it. Okay, so this 1906 is a target on the daily PST. All right, so coming into this zone is okay for us. If I was to do, just bear with me, not you, but you. Okay, the low of this is 1910. All right, so I need to kind of do this. Okay, so it should come up into that zone. So what you can do is I put the astro hours in here yesterday. For today, these are the astro hours. So if the market does come back down, going up into that 1906 is there, 1906, 1907 zone, 1906. All right, so that's the zone there, and 1907. Okay, on the weekly, that 45 level is 1911. So let's do this. We'll keep 1911 on the cards because it's on the weekly and it is important for us. All right, so this zone is a nice target. If the market does come back down, going up is not a bad idea. It's got a bit of room to fill here, as you can see, and a little bit here. It hasn't broken below that low, so it's still, doable. All right, you could also do this. If it breaks up, wait for the pullback into an astro hour and then go up. Okay, if it doesn't go up, it sticks around here, we'll probably get a push down into the next astro hours and see how that happens. Okay, in any case though, minimum I'd like to see it go up to 1911 at least before we think about selling heavy. Okay, other than that though, like I said, weekly pivot is always something we look out for. Let's take a look at SP500. Now with SP500, these were the astro hours yesterday. We had an astro hour there, so you can see market came to that target there at the astro hour, just fainted away. And then this was an Astro hour, okay, came to the low of Asia and then went up into the Astro hour, and that's an Astro hour here, as you can see, and here the market goes up and then sizzles down. Okay, so let's see, this is a nice pull up, so we have got a bit of room to go up on the daily, which is going to be that 45 level, and that's 4,430. So 4,430 is going to be here on the daily. So that's a nice target to see there. And then let's see the weekly again. Yeah, and on the weekly we can still get up into this 58 to 60 zone, which is 4,448 and 87. So 4,448. And then 87 is too far out, so I'm going to leave that away. But you can see we've got some targets there. This is a good push up. If the market comes back down into this zone just under the daily pivot, okay, into that zone there, and also back into here, it's okay to go long. You can see it's a good push up. Okay, so, and selling where they sold off before, so this is all good. All right, so selling again at the highs here or slightly higher is all okay. At Astro hours I think it's sellable because we had that good push in there, so we're either going to go with this push or we're going to go with this push. In any case, selling at Astro hours is not a bad idea from the highs. Okay, and if you take a look at the daily there, despite the fact that we've got a bit of room to go up, the trend is still down, and what we want to see is what's the low of that? 4431. 4431, so that's also a nice place. All right, so coming into this zone to sell is also good. All right, so either here or here we're sellers. Okay, just mark the zones. Within the zones, you see the pricing is more often than not inside those zones. So when we get into a zone, you know what price to expect. Okay, so let's take a look at the euro dollar. With the euro dollar, this is where we're at yesterday. That was an Astro hour for the market to go up. This is an Astro hour. As you can see, market slided down a little bit, hit the target levels that we put in. So today, let's take a look. Now remember I said this zone is a Venus line. Going long is not a bad idea. We still got a bit of room to go into that 51, 1.0956. So I'm going to put 1.0956 here. Okay, 1.0956 there on the daily as a target. On the weekly, remember we've got 54, which is there, which is 1.0978. 1.09, so we're going to keep that. All right, so going up into that zone is still okay. As you can see, it's closed above that, so pulling back in order to go up is not a bad idea. The daily and the weekly pivoted together here. Let me just refresh this page here, and you know, seeing it come to the targets are also good. You can see how the PST levels are working really nice. You know, sooner or later they like to go and hit that level. So okay, so let's see, and that's that. So if I go back onto the 15-minute, there you go. All right, so any pullback into the opening into here to go up is not a bad idea. Even this 1.0903 is okay. You see where the market can come back here, look for support and go up from this level here. It's pretty close to the opening in order to get up into that zone. Once you're in that zone, obviously you need to be careful, simply because the market want to push back down again. We are in a downwards trend, as you can see. It's broken the swing, so going up to a level to sell off again is the way to go. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq. and Bitcoin and see how we go. All right, so let's take a look at Dow Jones. All right, this is the daily. Now remember, we talked about this zone, so buying from the lows of this zone is not a bad idea, like I said, but you got to be careful. Why? Because we've got room to come down. Okay, so let's make this a little bigger. Now, yesterday, all right, so let's do this. It's that 12 o'clock, 12:25 we had. That's 1 o'clock. 12:45 we had. So 12:45 is here, right? And then we had 12:25. So 12:25 to 45 is pretty much there, in between there. All right. So the market turned around nicely, as you can see, and then it came all the way down to that 6:45. We didn't have anything at 6:45, but we had 7 o'clock. Okay. And then the market started going up from here, and then, like I said, it would go on in that direction. And I said we would have some sudden moves in the market, and I also said if we have a sudden fall down, we'll probably retrace back up, and this is exactly what happened. So the market really fell down nice and sharp, and then we went back up, filled in all the gaps and so on. So what to do with the US 30? Now obviously we're going down, this is a downwards market and trends are down, and I did say I'm expecting the market to break down as well. So once the market pushed down, strong retracement, sell off again. If we go back up, want to sell again. Now look, the weekly is at 55. You need to know, if you're trading the Dow, 34,821 is something you need to keep an eye out for. Okay, that's for sure. Why? Because the weekly goodbye kiss. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sell on the daily, all right, and we're going to sell on the weekly. So as you can see here, the market yesterday, okay, that's your HCL1 line right there. So today that's 34,541, 34,541, 34,541 is there. Okay, and the market's done that yesterday. So this is a zone again. So if the market goes back up, you can sell here again, or the weekly pivot in this zone here is again, it's going to be where you need to sell. Okay, on the daily, the next level is 49, and that's 34,903. So that's quite a bit far out. So I'm going to do 34,903. I'm just going to put this here. All right. So we'll keep this in mind. Okay. But this zone, you can see, like, we want to be selling. And this is, again, yesterday's level. This is the first level for today, and so on. So selling on the highs is what we want to do. Is there room to go down? Obviously, we had those levels. Now let's put them in today as well. So we've got 34,116. 34,116. So this is your target zone for today. As you can see, the market should be coming lower. That's your first target on the daily, and you can go down even further, as you can see here, to 33,919. What else? 33,919. And on the weekly, the first target is down here, 48, which is 33,988. So 33,988 is here. So these two targets are the prominent ones. Okay, that's the first one on the daily, and this is also the weekly. So pushing into these levels is good. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Now this is the same kind of thing with NASDAQ. If you take a look at what happened That's your 4:15. We didn't have anything at 4:15, but we had 5 o'clock, and that's your 5 o'clock there. Market crashing down, and then we had 7 o'clock. This is your 6:45, and that's your 7. All right, so that's a nice push down, market going back all the way into the evening, and that's 10:30. And remember, we had 10 o'clock and we had 11:19. All right, so that's your 10 o'clock right there. Okay, so pretty much making it happen. And also, if you take a look at this is 8:45. Remember, we had 9:15, sorry. 9:15 is here. Between 9:15 and 9:50, we were expecting a turnaround, and that's that. Going all the way into the weekly, we said we'd probably get in there. Nice sell-off at the Astro Hour. Nice buy at the Astro Hour. Right again on our levels that we marked in. And these were the targets I marked in yesterday. Nearly touched it, so pretty good. Okay, market coming in there. So with NASDAQ again, this is nice and bullish. Okay, taking out the stops, going up a little bit. Your first resistance is going to be 44 and then 48. So look out for 14,995 and 1575. So 14,995 is a target up here. And then we got 15,075 is there. All right, slightly up there. So selling in these two zones is not a bad idea. So that's a nice target to sell off, and that's a nice target to sell off at Astro Hours. Okay, so we still want to go down, but just be mindful because obviously the market is moving in waves. Okay, it's a nice push up. If we go up there, that's still 15,189. So just, be mindful that this is the zone that the market sold at, which broke it. So going back up to retest it on your trend line is like, legit. Okay, a lot of people say, well, trend lines are like, they get taken out. No, what you got to do is you got to match a few things together. All right, you can't just trade, support resistance. You can't just trade Fibonacci. You can't just trade demand and supply. There's no such thing that, or Elliott waves or whatever. There's no such thing that one thing works. You got to put a few things together. Why do you think I got the PST, the trend lines, plus I'm doing demand, supply, and then matching them all together, and we're getting price precision, because no one thing works. You got to use multiple things here, and you got to have some, something. You got to have an edge. All right. This is why we're using financial astrology plus a few things together. All right, and that's why you got to make sure you got some room to go up there and then selling off here as well. So your PST 48 is also likely to be hit up there. All right, so be smart and don't rush. Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin, now I said we've got room to come down. So here is your 15-minute chart. You see, every time the market goes up, I've been saying sell it off. So that's it. Now from this level, if the market breaks down, okay, if the market breaks below this, you see, we'll just keep heading down, and that's what we should really be doing. This will break down, we will come down, okay, and then we should keep pushing down until we get into these levels. And I know it's going to be a shock for a bunch of people, but economy is in shock. People are not going to be spending a lot. There's not going to be a lot of money to go around to spend on stuff. So it's going to be like everybody on a tight budget. So, that's how it is. So this line here, this is the Venus line. Remember, we came to that Venus line. That's all good, nice. And we've got down here, this is the moon line, but the Mercury is what I'm looking at here, the Mercury. All right, this Mercury line here is what I'm looking at. And I want to see us coming down here. And I know it's a bit of a shock, but that's just how it is. All right. So we'll see how things pan out. All right. And that's that. So with Bitcoin, I would be careful around here. No selling in a support or a demand zone. You want to make sure your selling is up here somewhere around 27,300 or 27,900. So you want to make sure these gaps are closed before you do anything crazy. Okay, the 15-minute has closed it, but you see there's a gap here. So you want to make sure you're not rushing into a sell order down here where the market's preparing to go up. Okay, if you want to go long intraday, smaller lot size at Astro hours from the lows.